Thank you for listening to Lone Star Community Radio. This program was broadcasted and recorded live from the LSCR studios in downtown Conroe, Texas. Lone Star Community Radio is supported by listeners like you. Donate and sponsor today. For more information on getting involved with Lone Star Community Radio, contact us at lscrstudios@gmail.com or visit us online at www.irlonestar.com.
Hey friends, and welcome back to another episode of Genuine Business Stories, where we have real front porch chats that inspire success. I'm your host, Clint Strom, and today we're talking with somebody who truly mastered the art and science of transformation, inside and out. Our guest is Tammy Pendygraft, a seasoned healthcare professional with over 30 years of experience and a true leader in the world of medical and regenerative aesthetics. Tammy brings unmatched expertise to the beauty and wellness industry. As a highly skilled and licensed esthetician and aesthetics injector, she specializes in advanced treatments like microneedling, PRP, PRF, peptides, and growth factor therapies. What sets her apart isn't just her knowledge, it's her meticulous attention to detail and her passion for helping people look and feel their best, whether it's building personalized treatment plans or guiding her patients towards a long-term confidence. Tammy's work is rooted in purpose and transition. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's get ready for full of insight, grit, and inspiration. Let's dive into the journey of Tammy Pendygraft. Hi, Tammy. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing well, and thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here today and talk with you guys.
I am excited to have you here today, and Tammy is somebody I've known for 2 to 3 years now?
Yeah, about two and a half years now.
And for her healthcare services, I have even sent my future wife in to see her, and my future wife came back and told me, Tammy likes me better than she does you now. So,
well, we have about a little closer relationship where we've been very personal with one another, and
So, Tammy, what first drew you to a career in healthcare?
Healthcare started for me right out of high school. I was a very science-minded person, and I got into healthcare just initially looking for a job. I went to work in the old Woodlands Community Hospital, and I started in the emergency room. And after about a year, was approached by an orthopedic physician that asked me to come work in his office, and it all kind of started there. That was I don't want to age myself too much, but that was a long time ago. And I just kind of dove in. I started working at the front desk, and I fell in love with healthcare, and I have a lot of empathy for people and passion for helping people. I've always been like that. And I started, like I said, at the front desk, and I worked my way all the way back into the surgery center. And that's where I spent the first 28 years of my career, really just being and learning and helping patients.
I bet you saw a lot in the emergency room.
I did see a lot in the emergency room. A lot of exciting things, a lot of not so exciting things, but definitely opened my eyes to a lot really early in life, because I was only 18 or 19 when I started working in the emergency room, and but really fell in love with orthopedics and sports injuries and working with orthopedic surgeons, and I just kind of followed that until it led me right out of orthopedic surgery.
So what drew you to aesthetics? And if you would, introduce your company to us, please.
Okay.
And tell us where you're at.
Yeah, of course. So we are Revive Aesthetics and Regenerative Medicine, and we're located in Montgomery County in the Wood Forest community. It's a new and I want to say kind of new and upcoming community, because the retail area of that community has just been growing in the last 5 years. But from what I understand, the actual residential part started many years ago. But I got into aesthetics by accident. I was working for an orthopedic practice in the Woodlands area, and my kids were getting into the high school age, and I really started thinking about what I was going to do when my kids went to college. College for my kids was never optional. They were always going to go. And so them and my husband, literally my life, my kids played year-round basketball, and we were just always so busy. And I started getting not panicked, but just concerned about what I was going to do with all of my time. And I wanted to work for myself. I realized that a few years prior to that, and had just been thinking about what I wanted to get into. And I quit my job and was going to go into like medical office development, helping private practice physicians open their own practice. And I helped a friend open a dentist practice. And about 6 months later, we opened a med spa together, and I fell in love with the business. I didn't know a lot about it, but I fell in love with all of it, the treatments, the business of it, the devices, all of the anti-aging stuff. I was also in my 40s then, and I knew it was coming to a point where I was going to need a lot of that treatment, and it just really intrigued me. So I helped her run her practice for a few years, and then COVID happened, and we shut down. And when we opened back up, she didn't want to open the med spa back up, so that's kind of when I went on my own and opened up my own business. I am partnered with 2 physicians because we do medical aesthetics. So we do have to have medical doctors in our ownership to support our medical aesthetic procedures. But I mean, it was really all by accident, to be honest. I went back to school and got my esthetician license and then got my injector license, my laser license, and all the things. And then found a couple of physicians to help support me. And we started from scratch in an empty space and built it from the ground up, and it's been a roller coaster.
Well, that's great. What do you love about what you're doing now?
Oh, I love making
your customers?
I love making people feel great about themselves. You know, when you can help someone boost their self-esteem, there's just no other reward for that. When they come back and they're sending you pictures and they're happy to be on camera. That's a big part too, is a lot of people come to me and they're like, hey, I need to be on social media and I'm feeling old and I need to be refreshed, and I want to do something with my skin, and I just want to feel good about being on camera. And that's probably one of the most rewarding things, is just really making people feel confident about their appearance.
So how do you stay up with the latest innovations for your own field?
Oh, lots of training, conferences, workshops. I typically do one conference a year that is for med spa owners. That's like a reboot, refreshing, relaxing, lots of things like that. And then I do a few conferences and trainings that are all workshops, injectable trainings, esthetician service trainings, laser trainings, where you go and you get in a room with experts from the industry, and you learn by hands-on trainings and watching other people and listening to doctors talk about, different accomplishments that they've had and how they go about getting there. So it's a never-ending, growing, innovative industry for sure. It's always changing, and it's always moving forward with technology and treatments. And so, yeah, that's how I do it. Just lots of that.
What were some of the biggest challenges you saw when you first started out?
Probably the biggest challenge for me is being in the actual hands-on part of the job is probably being an injector, because we're one of the only states that allow estheticians to do injectables, which encompasses Botox type treatments and fillers and biostimulators and things like that. It's frowned upon by the medical, well, not so much the medical industry, but it's just, you're not a medical provider, so they kind of look down on that. So that was really difficult for me. So I always knew I had to do more training, and I had to be better to be accepted. And I'm after about 4 years, I feel like I'm finally moved into that role, and not having any more issues with that. People are learning from me now, and I love that too. Mostly, I'm an educator at heart, for sure.
So what does a day look like in the life of Tammy?
So I get up in the morning, and I would like to say that I get up and I work out, and I do all of that before I have coffee, but I don't. I get up and I have coffee, and I look at my day, and that's probably when I spend my best time on social media. My day is very calendared. I try to get on social media, and I try to do that and focus on it for about 30 or 40 minutes, and then start my day, get ready for work, go to the office, start my schedule. I don't normally start seeing clients till about 9 a.m. and then I go.
I don't want to hear from any before 9 either. That coffee needs to kick in.
Exactly. And I do a lot of networking, as you know. So a lot of my day is seeing clients, stepping out for networking groups, coming back, seeing clients. I try to do some educational stuff for people as well. I'm in a lot of Facebook groups that are med spa owners or treatment providers, and we do a lot of collaboration on things like that. I love to help other people grow their business and share what I've learned, and I love to hear what other people have learned. So I've made a lot of connections in the industry like that. That's been very helpful for me. And then, my day typically ends at work 5, 6, 7, depends on the time of year. Really, I try to stay late for teachers and people who work daytime jobs. So I have a couple late days, but for the most part, I mean, that's really it. I'm married. I've been married for 27 years, and I try to balance that with my husband at home, and we're empty nesters, so that's something else trying to get used to.
I enjoy visiting with your husband when he comes to events.
Yeah, he's quite the talker, actually, and he has a lot of life experience too, and being in the military for many years, he just has a lot of good things to share, and trying to get him to do a podcast too, actually. So hopefully that will be something that will happen for him in the future.
Good deal. So let's pick one thing that has worked really well for marketing your company, and one thing that after you did it, you went, ooh, probably won't do that again.
I will say that it's probably the same thing in both of those scenarios. So when I first started, I started doing social media marketing because that's what the industry, the industry's big on social media. I have a very love-hate relationship with social media, but I started doing a lot of Facebook marketing in the very beginning, and it was a lot of bots and a lot of charges that were coming from bots and things like that. And it just never worked out for me. And it was very frustrating. But that has actually come a long way now, and it's much better. And I just recently in the last year have started doing a lot of social media paid advertising again. And that has been paying off really well for me, especially in the summer months, because the summer months are really slow for aesthetics. I feel like everyone is kind of suffering right now because of the summertime, but for me, it really turned my summer around. So I'm grateful for that. I'm not doing it myself. I was doing it myself in the beginning, and I finally just bit the bullet and put the money out, and I hired a specialist that does Facebook ads, and she has done incredible work for my business. I'd love to give a shout out to her if I
Please.
can do that. Her name is Sky Shanzer, and she has her own business, and that's what she specializes in is Facebook ads, and she's really amazing. So you guys, she's all over the place on social media. Ask Sky Shanzer, so look her up and use her if you can, because she's really good.
So have you found it to be a little challenging at times to balance being the practitioner versus being the business owner?
Every day. Every day. I'm sure that you can relate to that as well, owning your own business. I have a good team of people. I have learned in this last year to delegate more. I am a controlling person by nature. So I have learned to delegate more, and I have hired help, and that's really helping me balance it more. I will say that I love being in the treatment room more than I love being in the office, because patients are they're my forte. I love being with patients. I love treating people, and I'm coming into a better balance this year than I have being in business the last 4 years.
Good. Can you share a time when you hit a really rough patch in this business and thought to yourself, oh my goodness, what did I do?
Almost every day. Aesthetics, the aesthetics industry is like a roller coaster. It's good when it's good, it's bad when it's bad, and it comes and goes so much. You can have a really good productive week, and then you can have a really bad week the next week. So I try to do all the right things. I'm compliant with the Texas Medical Board, the way I'm running my business. There are a lot of pop-up med spas. It's an oversaturated market in Montgomery County for sure. And there are a lot of people that aren't doing it the right way. But I'm trying to be compliant, trying to follow the rules and do everything the right way. So that's what keeps me pushing forward. I keep doing the right thing, and I feel like that will bring people, and they will appreciate that, and they will appreciate my experience and my transparency. And I feel like that's what's helping me grow the most, is being transparent with people and sharing my experiences and kind of laying it all out for them. Really, I feel like my clients like that the most, when you put it all out there and you explain everything to them. Like I said, I like to educate people, so that's how I get my business. Pretty much, I educate my clients on what we're doing and what I feel like they need, and my retention has been really good with that.
People trust you, especially I've noticed that through the group where we interact with various other business owners that we all know. It seems to be just a theme that they trust you when you tell them
I appreciate
something.
you saying that. The transparency in my practice, when you come to me as a client, that is the one thing that I get. I get a lot in my reviews. People say I'm very knowledgeable and that I've educated them and they understand treatments that they may have gotten in other places that they never knew anything about. Really, you just walk in and people start injecting you with things and you don't know what they're putting in you, and that sort of stuff. And I give my clients all the information. Here's what I'm injecting in you. Here's why. This is why I like this versus that, and they like that.
And I'm sure when you take the before and after photos, it gives you a warm feeling inside whenever
It really
your customers
does.
can see the difference.
It really does. And I always send my clients a before and after photo of themselves so that they can see the results. And when they, a lot of the treatments that we do in aesthetics, it takes time, right, to build collagen and to really get good results. Aesthetic results are all about consistency. And so typically, whenever I see my clients back and we take after photos and they see them, they don't see it in the mirror because they're looking at themselves every day. But when they see it in a photo, they're like, wow, you were right. This has been so good for me. And so that's very rewarding for me. It makes me very happy to make people feel good like that.
So what's one thing you learned about yourself during the early days and the tough times?
What's one thing I've learned about myself? Probably that I am more resilient than I thought. To be honest, it's very defeating in the beginning. My practice is located inside a 2-story medical building with not a lot of street presence, so that was very defeating. That's how I got into networking to begin with. I was advised by a consultant to go put my face in the community, find some people to network with and some groups to help me grow and network with. And so that's probably the one thing I've learned the most is I didn't realize that I even had it in me. I've had many days where I'm like, phew, are we gonna be able to make salaries? Are we gonna be able to open the doors this summer? All the things. And it's paying off now, finally, after 4 years. I was told in the very beginning of aesthetics that it takes about 3 to 4 years to really grow your reputation. This is all about reputation, right? Because it's a very hands-on type of work. And I'm finally getting a lot of word-of-mouth referrals, and people are recognizing me. It took me a long time to put my own face on social media and to do videos. That was kind of a struggle for me in the beginning. My son is a videographer, and he's very helpful with how to speak and how to look at the camera and how to talk and those kind of things. So that has been helpful for me. I'm lucky to have that. And so, yeah, that's probably it.
Does he work for himself or does he work for somebody else as a
Both.
videographer?
I have encouraged both of my kids to be very entrepreneurial. My daughter's a bartender, and she does a lot of freelance bartending as well as working in a boutique restaurant in Austin. Both my kids are in Austin. My son does a lot of freelance videography and photography, and he's a drone pilot as well. Pendy Shots is his social media handle. If anybody is looking for that kind of work as well, he's great. He's patient. He's creative. He does really good work, and you can look at my website and my social media, and a lot of the stuff on there is by him. So if you need any of that, he's there for that too.
So was there any one moment or any series of events where you kind of sat back with your business, realized you were breathing a little easier, and you went, okay, this is going to work?
That's just recently for me, in the last few months, actually. When the marketing really started turning things around for us on our social media, that is probably the time where we were getting a lot of online bookings and just random people that weren't referred by anything other than advertising. So that has been that's just been recently in the last few months for me with my Facebook marketing, and I'm focused on Facebook marketing here, and I feel like in our local community, Facebook is the biggest platform where people go for referrals and to see ask other people for advice and that sort of thing. So that's what's, I think, allowing me to breathe a little more easy now.
So have you figured out, because with all of us in businesses, we have ups and downs, have you figured out how to maintain your energy during the down moments that you have so you keep pushing forward to see more successful moments?
I pray a lot. I'm a big believer in the good guy above. And my husband has got me into manifesting, which has really helped me to keep my spirits up and to be more mindful and positive mindfulness and not be so negative, not focus on the negative, but focus more on the positive. And that alone has gets me out of bed every day, to be honest. My husband he sits on the patio every morning to let the dog run around with his coffee, and he listens to manifestation type things. And just me joining him out there, it has sunken into me that's really helping me.
Positive in, positive out.
So if you're not a manifester, become one, because it is life-changing for sure.
With my own life, I had realized there have been times where things just, no matter what decisions I made, they worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've realized there are other times it feels like no matter what decisions I make, they don't seem to work out. And when I was talking to my lady, when we were discussing it, she looked at me and she helped me realize, she goes, I don't know what you're fussing about. Every time you have an obstacle, you overcome it and you're able to move forward. You don't seem to hit anything that you can't solve. And at that point, it made me realize I was getting myself into somewhat of a negative mindset, because I very much am as a person that it's never enough. It's always moving forward for that next goal, that next success. And sometimes when it doesn't come as quick as we want it, we go, things just aren't right, until you stop and go, wait, there's nothing that stopped me. It's still moving
happening.
forward. Exactly.
It's happening. And if you just sit back and you just be patient, that's something that is really hard for me, is patience, because I want it right now. And these last 4 years in this business, trying to grow this business and get retention in my clients has been a struggle. But I, by nature, am a people person, and I love to grow relationships, and that is, I have so many of my clients have become friends, real friends that I'm hanging out with outside of work, and that are offering to help me do things that, people normally wouldn't do unless they get paid for, and stuff like that, because they just believe in me and my business. And that's been something that's really been encouraging for me too.
What's a client success story that really sticks out in your mind? That one patient that come in and from the start of your process to the end of their journey. And I believe it's never really over, but it's that point of, okay, now you're going to maintain because we've accomplished the results that you wanted.
So I have a very special client who came to me a couple of years ago. Her daughter was getting married, and she's in her 50s, and she was really down on herself about her appearance and the way she looked, and she hadn't taken great care of her skin, and lots of sun damage and just all the things, volume loss, skin laxity, not using good skincare for many, many years. And she came to me at a really good time. It was about 8 months before the wedding. I always recommend that if you're trying to meet a goal and it's for a reunion or a wedding or somewhere where you want to look younger, you need at least 6 months is the least amount of time, because it's consistency in treatment. This particular lady, I worked out an entire treatment plan for her all the way up until the day before the wedding. And she was very committed. She stuck to the plan, and she was very happy. When she was at the wedding, she was sending me pictures of herself and her daughter, and she was saying that people were really complimenting her skin and saying that she hadn't aged since they hadn't seen her in years, and how was she doing it, and she was so grateful. And that's probably my biggest client success story. She knew that she needed a lot of work, and She set the time aside. We worked out a good payment system for her. I know that not everybody can come in and buy a $5,000 package, and so that's probably a huge focus in my practice, that I treatment plan people so they can make smaller monthly payments so that they're able to meet their goals and it not break the bank. And she really committed to that, and she did very well. And she's a client for life, I'm sure.
To follow up on what you said in there, so you have finance sources to where if individuals come in and want a treatment plan, that if they decide to continue to add to their packages, then at the end with the total, if they want to, then you've got finance sources that can help them do that. That is correct.
We have some in-house financing options, and we have some third-party finance options. We have some no-interest plans, low payments. So I won't say that I didn't get in the business to make money, because I feel like people say that and it's so cliche. But for me, it's about helping people, and that is really why I got into the aesthetics industry, is because when I helped my friend open a med spa several years ago, I wasn't working in the med spa. So I was seeing other people, estheticians, providers, injectors, doing things, and just seeing the happiness that it was giving people is kind of what drew me to the business. I was like, this is something not easy, but fun and exhausting at the same time. But it's what got me to quit my job and go back to school and get all the licensing to do these treatments. That's what I wanted to do. And whether I'm doing it in a big med spa or in a single solo practice in a small space, I think it would be just as rewarding for me. I'm very fortunate that I have physicians that really believed in me and that had worked with me prior to this and knew my my medical journey and my healthcare knowledge, and trusted me enough to invest in me and this practice. And we were able to open, a bigger scaled practice than I would have been able to do on my own. And so I'm very grateful for that as well. The doctors are amazing and very supportive, and they refer patients as well. And they both have their own private practices, so they have a lot of access to a lot of people. So, yeah.
So when I was thinking about our conversation we were going to have today, there's something that struck me. You can always, with before and after pictures, see the difference in how somebody looks. I'm going to believe there's probably a big emotional difference you've seen too, with whether it be confidence or maybe it's helped alleviate a little depression that they were going through. So tell me about some of what you see there, just from the emotional side of what you do.
I always say that I should have gotten a psychology degree before I started in aesthetics, because I feel like sometimes I am a therapist at the table. When you get someone in a position where you're hovering over them and working on them for hours, they tend to let a lot out and talk about a lot of things. And I have seen a lot of that, what you mentioned, a lot of depression, a lot of just feeling defeated in their appearance. And no one wants to get older, right? No one wants to age, and no one wants to fight the skincare journey because it's a big journey. It's a lot of commitment and a lot of, it's a lot of hands-on, even yourself. I always say you're never going to get really great results if you don't continue the treatment at home. Skincare is a big part of that. And when I can get people to do that, and they're doing treatments, they're doing skincare, it all comes together. It does exude a lot of confidence, self-confidence. They're happy when they come in. They're like, look at me. Or they'll be in the building for something else. Like I said, I'm in a medical building, so there's a lot of stuff going on in the building. They'll just pop in my office and like, where's Tammy? I need to show her. This is so great. And it's just that, for me, is just the reason why I do it. I mean, it's so nice. I see people gaining confidence and feeling better about themselves. And when you feel better about your appearance, I feel like that makes you feel better inside as well. And it just comes, full circle.
Have you had any customers that their overall journey, from before and after photos to their emotional state of mind, just really surprised you at their overall transformation?
Oh, yes. That happens almost daily for me. I'm really diving deep into regenerative aesthetics, and regenerative aesthetics are treatments that get into the cellular level of the skin and really create DNA correction and cellular turnover, and using products that help our cells communicate with one another again and become alive again. And so that's the biggest thing that gets results. It's also probably on the higher end of the pricing of things that get results, because the products that we're using are sometimes human growth factors, sometimes biomimetic growth factors that are made to look like human growth factor. And all of that stuff comes with a hefty price for us to purchase, not only to administer, but to purchase on our end as well. And that's why I came up with this whole, 12-month treatment planning, monthly payment system in my practice, so that people can get the greatest benefit and not break the bank as well. I do have a lot of clients that save money in a client bank situation in our practice, where you can just put money into an account and then save up some money and then come and use it however you want. And so that has been a really big benefit for us as well. But yeah, the overall transformation process is just amazing with regenerative aesthetics.
What are some of the biggest misconceptions against aesthetics that you have seen that you've had to overcome, and give some examples of some things that people just have a misconception of?
I think the biggest misconception is going to fall in facials and injectables. Those are the two biggest aesthetic treatments. I think people don't realize that a facial treatment is actually renewing your cellular activity in your skin. We're not a cucumber on the eye kind of practice. We are all medical, clinical, science-backed type treatments. So when you come and you get something as simple, most people think it's simple, a facial treatment, we are using product that is getting into the skin and that is creating change. So that is probably the biggest misconception. The other misconception is with Botox and fillers. I don't push a lot of filler because I am really moving more into regenerative aesthetics. I think filler, while it has its place in aesthetics, I think people are overusing it, and they're putting too much in people. They're changing the look of who you are. And I'm not in the business for that. I'm more in the business of enhancing your skincare naturally and doing things that help change your skin, but you still look like the same person. They're enhancing features. Your skin is renewing, your surface is getting smoother, your skin is lifting and tightening, and all the things. There's so many things, but that probably, the biggest misconception with injectables is people think that is the cure, and it's not. It's so temporary. And then if you don't have an injector who has great experience, that's a whole different story. I've corrected some injectables that were done by other providers because they don't have enough experience to be doing what they're doing. And so that's one thing that I am really starting to enhance in my own social media is trying to educate people and teach people to research providers. When you go onto Facebook and you ask somebody, where do you get your facials, or where do you get your Botox, or whatever it is, you get flooded with all kinds of referrals, and people, they just pick one. But you actually can come into my practice and you can interview me. You can sit in a room and talk to me and not have to buy a thing, and learn about who I am and where my training comes from and what I know and what I recommend. And I encourage everyone to do that, to really interview your providers and make sure that what you're doing is good and you're going to get a great result, and ask for pictures and ask for credentials. That if you have credentials, you have them to show people. And that builds confidence in you and your client to do the treatments that have all the misconceptions. So that's probably it. Facials and injectables for me.
So what was one of the oddest questions you received when somebody was interviewing you?
Are you good? They all want to know that. They all want to know, are you good at what you do? And I pull out the pictures and I say, here it is. And here's how I got to this. And that some people get defensive when people ask you that, but I want people to ask me that because I want people to know that I have spent the money in the training and that I have done multiple levels of training. I don't know if you're aware, but when you get your Botox and your injector certificate to do injections, it's a 2-day course. first day's Botox, second day's fillers. You might inject 2 or 3 models, maybe 1 model during your training, and then they hand you this piece of paper, and then you go out into the world and you start putting stuff in people's faces with no experience. And that is very scary. And
like other fields,
yes, it is.
Insurance, as a commercial insurance broker, I have seen others where it is, here, go get your license and now you can get paid to sell this.
That's right. And if you don't do the work, there's more to injecting Botox type products. There are several, Botox is a brand. I use it because people think it's the procedure. It's not actually the procedure, it's the brand. There are many different botulinum toxin type injectables, but when I got my license,
that was a great job of branding to have their business name stick out as the procedure.
Yeah, I did 5 levels of Botox training before I ever started injecting people in my practice. And I did all of the levels of Botox training, and even the level where you walk in and they say, forget everything you've learned, we're going to teach you something totally different today. And I followed and I shadowed some other injectors that have been doing it for years. And I've been sticking needles in people my whole life. I mean, I've been in healthcare my whole life, and as a clinic medical assistant, like all the things. And when you work in orthopedic surgery, you're doing joint injections, shoulders, hips, knees, all the things. So actually sticking a needle into people was never a problem for me, but really learning facial anatomy and wherever you're going to put injectables, you can do it now. You can do it all over the body for different things. But if you don't get the extra practice, you can really mess someone's face up. And once you do it, it's there. You can't take Botox away once you put it in. It's there, and it's there for 3 or 4 months. So if you mess something up, and you can't correct it, they're going to have to live with it. And then when they go and people are like, wow, what happened to you? And they're like, oh, I went to this person and she Botoxed me and now I look like this. And now you're ruined for life. And so
men, that is not a question you ask your lady when she gets home.
Right?
Not even joking. It will get you in trouble.
I know your lady has come home several times with bruising in the face and all the things, but it's coming around and it really does look good. And it's turning the aging process around for her and for so many, if you just do the right thing, get the training and do the right thing.
Expectations. So how do you set realistic and safe expectations for a customer when they come in? Because their expectations may be, you're going to make me look like I'm 35 again, Tammy. I'm 55. I'm coming in to see you. Can you give me back that face I had? And I expect you to. Realistically, we can age gracefully, but Dolly Parton's the only one I've ever seen that just is frozen time, literally, and it looks good while doing it.
Yes, and if you saw her pocketbook and what she has spent on that, yes, she's beautiful, and she is. I don't know who her plastic surgeon is, but he's amazing. My expectations for clients, I'm just honest. I'm 54 years old. I hate to say that out loud, but I am, and I'm very honest, and I set very realistic expectations. I show people the aging process in pictures and where we lose bone structure and fat loss and all of those kind of things. And I tell them, you may get a great result. You may not get a great result. Nothing is guaranteed, but this is the path. And this is what I've done on other people similar to you. And these are the results that they're getting. And I think that people now in this industry are coming to realize that Botox and fillers are not the answer. They're wanting things that are more regenerative. They're wanting things that are more cellular, that are giving you more natural enhancements and making you look younger, but in a more natural way where it's not creating dysmorphia of some sort in your face. So that's really where my passion has always been, is moving more into something regenerative and not so superficial and fast, right? That's one question that I always ask my clients. It's like, what are you looking for? Are you looking for long-term results, or are you looking for something right now you have somewhere to be in a month that you need to look great for? Because that makes a big difference on what kind of treatment plan we're going after. And so that is typically one of my first questions is, are you looking for something that is instantaneous or something that is more long-term. And most people are looking for long-term results, something that just requires a little bit of maintenance and that can keep the aging gracefully going, that won't break the pocketbook.
So when somebody is looking to have facials, aesthetics, injectables, what are some red flags when they are interviewing and trying to find a provider that the general public need to look out for?
Red flags for me are price shopping. I get a lot of price shoppers texting me, calling me on the phone every day, literally saying things like, how much is your Botox? And if I'm answering the phone, I'm saying, have you had Botox before? And if so, what kind of result did you get? And what are you looking for? Are you looking for the best price? Or are you looking for a quality provider who has a practice, who has had all the training, because you can get Botox for $8 a unit anywhere you go if you want. I mean, you can find it. It's out there. There's pop-up shops everywhere where people are not even using Botox. They may say they're giving you Botox. They're buying it from providers that aren't, the Botox manufacturer or whatever. I kind of harp on Botox because it is the word that everybody knows. But that's what I get the most is price shoppers that they just want the best price. And I always tell people, if you're looking for the best price, I probably am not the right fit for you, because I have a medical aesthetics practice and I've had all the training and I'm buying all the product that is FDA approved. And all of that costs money, and that what costs me money is going to cost you money. And so you have to figure out, are you looking for a good quality provider, or are you just looking for the best price? Because if you're looking for the best price, it's probably not me.
So on the flip side, I want to get work done, and I start interviewing various companies. What are some red flags that I should look for when interviewing them? Let's say I want to make my eyes look more refreshed. I want to put my cheeks back where they used to be. As I am asking these questions, what are some of their answers that should give me red flags about their experience and capabilities?
So some of the biggest red flags, I think, are people who are ready to just put a bunch of filler in your face. Because while filler is really good for helping exactly what you were just asking me for, it's expensive, and a lot of practice or practitioners are all about the bottom line, right? It's all about making the money. And that is the quickest way to get to a big price point is, okay, well, we'll need one syringe of filler to put under your eye over here and one syringe of filler to put over here. And if you want to lift your cheeks a little bit, that's going to be one whole syringe here and one syringe here. And then if you're looking at jawline stuff, that's another 2 syringes. So that's 6 syringes. That's going to be about $4,000. And I can give you this price today. If someone puts a treatment plan in front of you like this and they say, this price is good for right now, just pay at the desk. Tomorrow this price won't be good. That is the biggest red flag, because that is not a provider that is in it to really help you. That is a provider that's in it to help themselves. And that's not why we should be in the business.
And how do you recharge when you're not at work? Because running a business can be very rewarding, but it can also be stressful. I know that you've got a staff. You're not just a single operation in your business. You've got a staff you look out for, that you take care of. And at the end of the day, you've got to have something that end of the day and weekends that you do to kind of refresh yourself and get ready for the next day or the next week.
I try to relax. That is difficult sometimes when you're running a business. But I do try to relax. I try to get out of town when I can. I try to eat healthy. I'm not a big exerciser. I should be better at exercising, because when I do exercise, I feel so much better. But I'm not quite motivated enough for it. But I should be. But I do. That's what I do. I try to relax. I try to spend time with my family and pray. I pray a lot because I feel like that is very.
I do too.
That is very recharging for me. When you pray and you're really praying and you're really into it, it's very mind clarifying for me. And that getting we can't just turn off our brains, right? It's so hard. I'm the person that wakes up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom, and I come back to bed and the wheels are already turning, and it's 3 a.m. and I'm like, I got to do this tomorrow and I got to do that tomorrow. And, peaches are orange and apples are red and what's happening and all the things. And So I really try to decompress, to be honest. That's probably what recharges me the most. I have the best husband in the world. I just have to say that because he does so much for me, and he's so supportive of all the things that I do. And he helps me to unwind a lot just by getting me out of the house. And because if I'm at home and I'm just sitting around, I'm on my laptop and I'm working on the business, because when I'm at the business, I'm in the business and I'm seeing people, patients. And so he is a big part of that recharge for me, helping me to disconnect from work. And, he'll say, hey, it's time to close your laptop and take a minute and breathe. You're going to go to bed soon. You don't want to go to bed like this. And because he knows me so well, like I said, we've been married 27 years. He knows all the things about me. But that's what I try to do. I try to decompress and I try to get away from the work. I don't, when I'm doing events and training and speaking and all the things, when I'm done with it, I try to be done with it. It's hard sometimes, but yeah, just trying to find ways to get out of the house and decompress, or sometimes just not getting out of the house. Sometimes just going home and turning on the TV and watching something that's mindless and brainless and, probably not good for me to be watching, but just doing nothing, essentially.
Vacations. Would you rather go to the mountains or go to the beach?
Beach, 100% every time. I'm a beach girl. I love the mountains. I think they're very serene and peaceful, and they remind me a lot of God's work, but so does the ocean. The water, the salt water, it just does it for me. The beach every time. I'm going to the beach next week, so I'm super excited about that.
Are you going to Galveston or?
Oh, no, sir. Galveston is not the beach where you go to relax. I'm going to Florida. My husband's from Florida. I've visited a lot of beaches in Florida. My husband's also retired Navy, so we've lived in a lot of beach towns. And we're going to Pensacola, and we're going to spend about 6 days, and we're going to do absolutely nothing. So that's going to be very refreshing for me.
So what has it meant to you to build a successful business as a woman in the industry?
I will say that in the beginning, I had a lot of reservations of whether or not I could do this. The aesthetics industry is a lot. It's overwhelming. It's overbearing. It's everywhere. It's in your face. I try not to get too lost in what everybody else is doing. I try to stay focused on what I'm doing. And that has probably what has given me the biggest rewarding accomplishment, is to stay focused on what I'm doing. That is the only reason I'm successful, because you can really get away from that in this industry just by scrolling through Instagram or TikTok and seeing what everyone's doing. And you start thinking like, oh my God, I'm not doing this. Should I be doing this? Or should I be doing that? Or are they doing this the right way? Or, why does that look like that? Or, their office is more beautiful than mine. Do I need to remodel my office? So I feel like most of my success has been just staying focused on what I'm doing and concentrating on being the best version of myself in the industry. And it has brought me a long way in the last 4 years.
So what would you say is is the way that you like to give back, to mentor to others that want to do what you do? I know that you've got staff that you bring in. With just knowing you, I'm sure that you are very involved in their development and making sure that they're not just developing for your business, but for themselves in life.
So that's funny that you asked me that today, because I just was having a conversation with an esthetician today that she's feeling defeated. She's only been she's been in the industry for many years, but with me, just a very short time. And it takes time to build clientele. It takes time to build trust. And we just had a conversation this afternoon about things that she can do to help her own growth in the industry, and what it takes to be successful, focusing on being the best esthetician that you can be and providing the best service and educating your clients. And I'm big on education, because there are so many things that people don't know in the industry. Clients, essentially, not providers, but clients that come in and they know nothing about what they're getting or what they're doing. They're just letting people do work on themselves. And I educate every single client that gets in my treatment room. But I do that with my staff too, and I push them to be better. I push them to network for themselves. That's a big thing in the aesthetics industry also, that people don't, business owners, med spa owners, they don't want your staff to go out there and grow their own clientele in fear that the provider will leave their practice, and go on their own. It's going to happen. If it happens, it happens. It is what it is. When you own a med spa, and people will come and go, it just is the nature of the industry. And
to me, if I bring somebody on to sell, my goal is to get them to a point in the insurance world that if their desire is to own their own agency, that I can help mentor them to get them there.
It's an accomplishment, right? Even on your own behalf, not just for them, but for you too. When you see someone growing and developing and learning, and then wanting to learn more and asking you to help them, like that's one of the biggest rewards I guess I could ask for is for my staff to be like, wow, you have pushed me and you have made me see things in myself that I never thought I was possible and or capable of doing. And I love that. And I want to be a mentor for more people. I think that in Texas, with nurse practitioners and physician assistants especially, there's no real restriction from them having their own practice. Someone like me, as an esthetician who specializes in medical aesthetics, we have to be physician supervised. So these nurse practitioners and these physician assistants can go and they can work on their own. And so while a lot of people think it's terrible to have estheticians being able to inject, I'm encouraging that. But I'm encouraging it in a way where don't just go get your license and start injecting people. Get your license and start learning. Start learning facial anatomy. Start learning the correct way. Let's do a lot of one-on-one training, and let's inject under supervision for a year so that you can be the best injector that you can be. And we need that more in Texas because, like I said, it's almost impossible to get a mid-level practitioner to come and work for you because they don't need to. And it's very frustrating. So I just recently took a role with the American Med Spa Association as a leader in the Texas chapter.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Even AmSpa, they're not supporters of estheticians injecting, and I get it because it can be very dangerous. Because like I said, you just go spend a 2-day, you pay a couple $1,000, you get a piece of paper, and you can go stick needles in people. But when you're learning and you're doing it the right way, and you become that person that can be trusted and that's doing the right thing, it makes a difference. Because otherwise, how do we get injectors to come work in our practice? So yeah, I love to mentor and I love to teach, and I hope to get more into that. I'm hiring staff now to take over some of the treatments in my practice so that I can do more things like that, like educate people and encourage people and be a better mentor. I do some collaboration through social media with some of the other med spa owners that don't have protocols in place or don't know a lot about regenerative aesthetics. Regenerative aesthetics is very new to the industry. It's growing very quickly, but it is still very new. And I literally will set up a Zoom in the middle of the week. I'm like, hey, if anybody has time, I'll spend an hour and I'll talk about what I do, what my protocols are, how I'm getting good results, the products that I'm using. And I feel like we should be a resource for one another and not be so competitive. It's a very competitive industry. And there's a lot of, don't go to her, don't go to her, don't go to him, come to me. But why would we not be resourceful for one another? It only helps us grow more. And I think that's how we should approach it.
So where do you see your business in the next 5 to 10 years?
Ooh, that's a big question. I have a vision. I don't know if I want to put it out in the world quite yet. I do have a vision. I would like to eventually be the sole owner of my med spa. Like I said, right now I'm partnered with a couple of physicians. I would like to have my own empire. I'm not getting any younger either, so there's something. But I don't want to work forever either. I do love what I do, and I probably will work for many, many more years. But that would probably be my biggest thing is to have my own entity.
So one final thought before we go to the lightning round. I want you to give one piece of business advice to new up-and-coming entrepreneurs.
If you want to do it, do it. That's it, because it's really difficult. You can dream and you can want it, and you can say, I want to own my own business, and I want to be my own boss, and I want to make my own money. If you have a desire, surround yourself with like-minded individuals that are doing it, and that are either in the beginning process or in the end process, or already successful. That is one thing that I really had to focus on, because I learned that a lot of people don't support your success, and that is very frustrating and disheartening for me. I have a big network of people, and I have, in the last 4 years since being at Revive Aesthetics in regenerative medicine, I have learned that I need to surround myself with like-minded individuals, and that is going to be the biggest support system that you can have when trying to grow your own business. People will discourage you and will insult you and will make you feel like you can't do it. But if you want to do it, just find your people and get to it.
I have found that if you don't own a business, I am probably not going to take your business advice. Not that you're not smart, but your whole way of thinking is going to be so totally different than mine.
That's correct.
The driving force behind me starting this podcast was inspiration for other small businesses.
Yeah.
Because that is what gets a lot of us through. It's our networking events. It's talking to other small businesses when there are challenges and going, hey, they've struggled and they're doing good. And it gives you a feeling of, I can do this.
Yeah. I think that networking has what has grown my business the most. And I encourage everyone to find good networking groups to get into and find people to support you. Because when I first started, I didn't have any clients. I started with 0 clients. I opened the doors and said, hey, I'm here. And I encourage people that I network with to come and get a service from me, so that when you do refer me, you have genuine advice for people, and your referrals are genuine. And when you can say, hey, I trust this person, I go to this person, she has done facials on me, she's microneedled me, I've been microneedling for 10 years, it's my favorite aesthetics treatment, hands down. And when someone refers you, when someone comes in and says, hey, somebody told me that you do great microneedling, I want to get an appointment with you, her face looks great. That's the most rewarding thing for me. I'm like, oh my God, yes, let's get you on the schedule, and I'll help you out as much as I can, and all the things. So you gotta do it, and you gotta have trust factor. That's the biggest thing. You gotta trust the people that you're referring to other people. And so I really do try to encourage the people that I network with to come and have any service, just to get a feel for who I am and what I'm doing, and my philosophy on aesthetics.
Let's go to the lightning round. What's one skincare product you can't live without?
Antioxidant, vitamin C serum, 100%. It's protective. And I would say that it's a tie between that and sunscreen. There's a lot of bad information about sunscreen right now, but if you get the right one, it's going to be perfect for you.
What's your go-to way to de-stress after a long day? Glass of wine?
Not a big drinker. Probably dinner out with my husband. Nobody has to cook. Nobody has to clean. We just sit across the table from each other and try not to be on our phones and conversate about our day and our life and our kids. And probably that. I love to just come home from work and get out of my dirty scrubs and into something fresh and go out for dinner and just have a nice meal.
Favorite quote or mantra you live by?
Don't be mad, be better.
What is one word you hope that clients use to describe their experience with you?
Honesty.
Tammy, thank you for coming in. Once again, I'd like you to tell people how they can get in touch with you. Okay,
so you can, on social media, I am Tammy Pendygraft everywhere, or Revive Aesthetics and Regenerative Medicine. On Instagram, we're Revive Aesthetics and Wood Forest, because Revive Aesthetics and Regenerative Medicine doesn't fit in the username. So you can reach us at our office anytime. Our phone number is 936-588-5890. We're at 750 Fish Creek Thoroughfare Montgomery, Texas. We're in Suite 150. We're inside the 2-story medical building in Wood Forest on Fish Creek. We're the first office when you come in the glass doors in the front of the building. We're the first office on the left. We have a big presence in the building, so you can't miss us if you come inside. My cell phone number is out there for public use, so if you can find it, you can reach me by cell phone. I'm very approachable. And we would love to have you. We would love to have you come, if not just to tour our facility and meet our staff and get a feel for our vibe and who we are. We would love for you to come and be a client at Revive Aesthetics.
Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today. From your early healthcare days to the powerful, purpose-driven business you built, your story is a great reminder that with heart, hustle, and love for people, you can build something truly meaningful. And to our listeners, thank you again for tuning in to Genuine Business Stories. We hope you found Tammy's story inspiring as we did. If you're enjoying the show, we'd love for you to consider becoming a sponsor or simply sharing this episode with a friend or fellow entrepreneur. And hey, if you know a business owner with a story that deserves to be heard, have them reach out to us. We just might feature them on the episode. And for sponsors, we'd love to have you sponsor if you'd reach out to Lone Star Community Radio Station. Until next time, keep showing up, keep building, and keep it genuine. Thank you.